You're watching the Armchair GM podcast. I'm Chris, and that's Dylan. The NHL playoffs are in full swing, but first, let's have a quick chat about the exit interviews from the Calgary Flames. Let's get after it. Welcome to the Armchair GM podcast.
Well, would you like to have Stuart Skinner on your team?
No.
What about Jeff Skinner?
Also no. No, I'm kidding. I mean, more so than Stewart, for sure. Way more so.
Yeah, I'd rather have Jeff than Stewart, but I definitely wouldn't be out there trying to collect Skinners.
No. I don't want either one of them playing net.
No, or forward, or defense,
or any of it. Yeah. No, I'm okay with who we have currently as netminders. I mean, would Jeff be an upgrade over some of the guys we have? Sure. However,
no. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Sharon Govich and fucking Klapka and Lomberg actually does stuff sometimes. I'd rather have all of the players that we have. Maybe Rooney, but Rooney is a center, so.
Yeah. And I would rather have Rooney's contract.
You mean expiring?
Yes.
Yes. Me too. But
I mean, no offense to Kevin Rooney as a player. I mean, he just is what he is, right? He's a fourth line center, and if he's not in the lineup, it's not a big deal.
But I guess that's what happens when you hire a GM who once acquired a Stanley Cup winning borderline generational team in the Blackhawks and then proceeded to destroy them in one offseason.
They're in tough, aren't they? They legitimately might lose some top end players in the very near future.
The Oilers?
No, the Blackhawks.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's just people making shit up when it comes to the Bedard shit. That's just people making shit up. I don't buy that for a minute.
I mean, I don't know how many more years he's going to want to sit at the bottom.
I mean, he's played 2 seasons.
True. It's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's 3 years at the bottom.
The thing is so somebody offer sheets him next year and that's gonna cost them $14 million a year and several first round picks and
yeah.
The Blackhawks are gonna be like, actually we have $14 million, so no.
Yeah.
It's just I don't see a world in which he gets traded anytime soon or an offer sheet actually works on him.
No, I don't foresee that either when it comes to Bedard, but I do see there becoming an issue with players going there or signing there or, that sort of thing. I feel like they're going to have to get out of this solely on drafting, which that's going to take a while. Yeah, they're trading.
Drafting and trading.
Fair.
Yeah, which is fair because, I mean, you can't expect Tyler Bertuzzi to come in and be a superstar or a 30 4-year-old Taylor Hall or whatever.
Right.
But anyways, that I guess I don't know how we got onto that, but
We started out off the rails. Well
yeah.
done.
Anyways,
Well done.
hey, I just wanted to make fun of the Oilers for a little bit, who also might lose some top end talent if what's happening right now continues.
Maybe they can use some of that savings on acquiring a defender and a goalie.
Don't be silly. That would
I know they
take.
will absolutely get more high end centers for sure.
No, I think they'll just get more slow wingers, slow aging wingers.
Maybe they can get Neil back.
Neil?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? He'd fit their age range.
They can get Milan back. I mean, they paid for him long enough to not play there, so
Yeah.
I think they owe him some ice time.
What's the score right now? Is it still 3-1 for the
Yeah,
Kings? Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Second intermission.
So the Oilers lost the first game in highly dramatic fashion, which was fun to watch.
Yeah,
I turned it on and they were down 4-1, and then by the time I turned it off, they had just scored with like 20 seconds left or something like that.
yeah.
Sorry, LA had just scored to make it 6-5.
That's right.
So that was a hell of a game, but much to the happiness of us Flames fans, I would say.
The a great uh, post on social media from Oilers Jack, Captain Jack. He says the LA Kings have clearly scouted Skinner extensively and found out that his weakness is shots on goal. It's
That's
like that's
not inaccurate.
no, no. I mean, it's a very astute observation.
Yeah. The Oilers in general weakness is just being in the
Defense.
offensive zone
Yeah, yeah.
or in the defensive zone, I guess. And
In the defensive zone. Yeah, yeah. If you can
because
hang him
at home
in
they
the
have
zone,
0 guys who know how to defend, except for Kulak, who's like a 6th, 7th defenseman on a team with good defenders.
yeah. Didn't he just have a child? I'm sure his head's in it.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't. I could be making that up. I
Maybe.
thought I saw something about it.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't been paying much attention, but to stuff like that, anyways.
Yeah.
So that's one series. Fun stuff in that one for us Flames fans so far. Like you said, going into the going into the third 3-1 for the Kings. Hopefully they can hold on.
Yep. No Kings.
Go Kings. Gabriel Landeskog back for the Colorado Avalanche. Last I checked, they were up 1-0 on the Stars, and I believe that series is tied 1-1.
Yep. Yeah, 18 minutes left in the third, and yeah, still 1-0.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have? I wonder how long has Landeskog played. I'm curious how they're using him.
Like so far tonight.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I can check that real quick.
I'm on it.
Gabriel Landeskog has played. Well, he's got 5 hits. He's played 8 minutes and 30 seconds, which is looks like it's about second line minutes for where they are.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. I expected them to play him quite sparingly for the first game or two, but looks like they're actually giving him a little bit of a chance at least, which is good. Probably huge for the team having their captain back for the first time in fucking 3 years.
I'd say he's closer to third line minutes, but yeah, that's it's got to be a huge boost, right? for the team
Mm,
itself. And 5 hits is nothing to slough at. I mean, that's pretty impressive for somebody that's coming off injury like that
yeah.
to just get right back into it and really start hammering on a divisional rival like that. I think that's cool.
And Dallas has heavy players too, right? It's not just
Hmm.
not a bunch of small guys. So
Yeah, exactly.
impressive.
No, it's a good series, right? They're well matched up. They're well matched up all through the season. So I think that automatically makes it a must watch as far as the series goes. Like it'll be a back and forth for sure.
Plus the whole Rantanen thing is
Yeah,
always
yeah,
a
I think.
good one to see.
Mhm.
Hopefully he starts
Yeah,
playing a little better.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of made. He's kind of built for this type of hockey. I think.
Yeah. And Washington played earlier today. Washington and Montreal, I believe the Caps won 3-1, bringing them up 2-0 in the series.
Yep. Yeah.
I
It was. It was. I mean, I don't know about that series. I mean, the first game just wasn't super exciting to me, but there's some flashes, but it's harder for me to tune into the first game of the night because that's usually just getting home from work and stuff. If the Flames were playing at 5 o'clock, I'd be getting off work early, but not for the Habs. Not
yeah,
doing that.
yeah, I was working for game 1, so I wasn't able to watch it either. But I've only been able to watch a couple games so far. I watched that first Edmonton LA game, um, and I watched one of the games that was on before that. I can't even remember right now. Oh, the or actually after that, I think the Minnesota and Vegas. That was really good. I really enjoyed watching that game. They're
The second
they're
game, or
the second game, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
was
I really enjoyed watching that because they're playing super physical and it looks like it's round 3 hockey already.
mhm. And Boldy's a stud.
Both Boldy's an absolute stud. I really, really like
Yep.
watching Matt Boldy play. He's
Yeah,
really strong on the boards too. He's the
yeah.
type of guy that you want, especially to play with Kaprizov, right? Like Kaprizov's the type of guy who, you know, I'm not saying he can't do the work on the boards because he can, but if Boldy can do the work on the boards and get Kaprizov the puck all the time, then
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
team's home free and they're playing against a heavyweight, right? Like a lot of people have Vegas. I actually have the Wild upsetting Vegas, but most people I would say probably have Vegas winning that one.
probably. But I mean, they did take one away from them in Vegas, so that's a good sign. Can we talk about the start time of nine Mountain on that? Like Jesus,
Yeah, I
like
think it
way to not get people in the East to tune into games.
yeah, it was starting at like midnight on the East Coast. That's fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous.
truly.
Like,
Yeah, like that's international hockey time. Like what the hell? There's no reason for that.
no, there's no reason at all for that. And
No,
how
get
about
it.
if you want to talk about start times? How about the Florida and Tampa series not even starting until all of the other series were 2 games in?
Yeah, yeah, that was bizarre, right?
Yeah,
I tell you what, though. I mean, who would have thought that having Matthew Tkachuk back in your lineup would get you a little more excited for playing a state rival?
yeah. I wasn't able to watch any of that game, although I wanted to. I'm surprised that he came back and looked so good, especially after uh, the injury he had to his leg, right? Like he probably couldn't
Mhm.
skate for most of that. So he Matthew Kachuk obviously I think he put up 3 points.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Hell of a hell of a series that one's going to be, though. I'm looking forward to actually watching some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously I know you're a Tampa Bay fan and and picked them to take the series, but
I
I think it's going to be a tough one.
I picked them to take the cup.
That's true.
I wouldn't really say I'm a fan. Like I like the Lightning, and when I was a kid, I liked the Lightning because I thought that Lightning was cool when I was very young. I was like, that's cool. So they were kind of my second team for a little bit there, but I'm a Flames fan, and other than that, currently I like to cheer for heels, bad guys, and people hate the
Mhm.
Lightning and the Vegas Golden Knights, and I find it fucking hilarious that the reason that people hate those teams. So I basically cheer for those two teams out of um, a natural tendency I have. I don't know if you know this, but to be a troll.
Well, you know what, Dylan? I'm glad you haven't brought that out against me.
It's been a few years. You and I have had our trolling, but back when you were a troll too, we had our trolling battles. We really weren't fans of each other for the first year or so, probably.
Yeah. 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 I mean, for the first, 7 years of us having a conversation, we haven't been fans of each other. The Speaking of fan, you just said that you are a fan, but Rasmus Anderson begs to differ.
Oh fuck. Yeah, so I'm not Team Tank though. I'm Team Rebuild. For
Well,
those of
we
you who
had the
didn't hear,
hashtag. Hold on. Let's go back to it. I don't think I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't even know what I'm talking about.
what's his for those of us or those of you who don't know what we're talking about, during garbage bag day, locker cleanout day, Rasmus Anderson called out Team Tank and said that they're not real fans. Um, I
Well,
personally myself, I don't want a team that wants to tank. If the managers want to do so, that's fine with me. But if the team and the coach would want to do that, that's unacceptable.
100%. Yeah, and any professional athlete that loses on purpose should forfeit their contract.
Yeah, I
Right.
100% agree with that. And there was a time where I was signing off um, on the post game shows with Pat Steinberg. There, I'd be signing off with Team Tank, mostly just to piss off Pat because he hates it. And
Yeah,
again, I have a natural tendency to troll, but
yeah.
I'm not Team Tank. I'm Team Rebuild, very much so, which
Yeah, I'm
is
pretty sure
two
both
different
of
things.
us we had made peace with the fact that they would likely be at the bottom of the standings and they just happened to outplay all of the critics in the
Yep.
entire NHL hemisphere. So well done for them. Of
Even the
course,
people
in the
who thought they
process,
would
they
be
lost the first
mediocre
round pick.
didn't think they'd be as good as they were, which
Yeah,
is, I mean, how flamsy is it? Let's be honest. How flamsy is it to tie an NHL record for most points without making the playoffs?
right. Yeah, that's 100% true. But I mean, when you look at their goals and things like that they scored, they had no business getting that many points either, right? It was kind of unforeseen that Wolf was going to develop into the goaltender that he turned into this year. And by unforeseen, I mean obviously, people imagined that he was going to be that good,
Just not that quick.
but right, exactly. And also, I don't think people imagined that Vladar was going to be as good as he was, especially after the Four Nations
Last
tournament.
last couple months of the season, Vladar was very, very good. Um,
Yeah.
I do want to say this though. I'm not sure how you feel about this because I don't think we've ever really talked about it. But I don't think, you know, I don't think they didn't deserve it. If you have a good goalie
Mhm.
and the goalie's doing it, then the team deserves it. It's the goalie's
Hun-
part of the team, right? Like I don't really buy into that narrative that did they outplay what we expected? Yes. Did they deserve what
Yeah.
they got and where they ended up? Absolutely they did because
Yeah. Mm.
Wolf is not only a part of the team but a huge part of the team and so is Vladar. So, you know, they deserved it based on having a top 5 goalie in the league this year and a pretty decent backup for the last quarter of the year, right?
Well, that's right.
E-
As they're
Even
going,
if they
kind of going for that
couldn't
late
score very
late push.
much and kind of defended like shit for most of the year. Um, the goalies are part of the team too, so they deserved it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's not
Yeah,
really a
the
narrative I buy into.
I wouldn't say they didn't deserve it at all. Like that's it's I don't see how you could say that, right? I mean,
Yeah,
as a team, they they fought their asses off, right?
yeah,
They really did, especially the last 2 to 4 weeks of the season. Like they really busted their ass to try and get in the playoffs, and it's I feel bad for them that they missed out in the fashion that they did.
yeah. Me too.
Especially that last game, and you come out of the third period just now knowing that your playoff hopes are done. I'm sure
Hmm.
that was really hard to digest for those guys, right? Because I mean, they truly had belief in that locker room, which is good. That's what I want them to have. It's exactly how I want them to be. They had a ton of heart and dedication this season, which is refreshing compared to a few seasons ago, right? Like they played for each other, and they played for themselves. It was fun.
Absolutely, it was
It
great,
was
and it
fun.
was fun hockey to watch. Like I think there was only maybe what 5 or 6 games maybe out of 82 that they didn't play super hard for the majority of the game, even when they weren't playing particularly well. For the most part, they were playing really hard, and they were
Right.
like there was very, very, very little floating throughout the entire season, and I feel like there was a whole lot of floating last season and the season before, specifically the season
Yeah,
before. Um,
totally.
and that's all vibes, right? Like
Yeah.
when when everybody wants out and whatever, you know, everybody's asking for trades or everybody's waiting to be traded or whatever. It's understandable that the vibes would be kind of shitty.
Yeah. Just going through the motions, right? Waiting for the inevitable. I
Yeah.
get the sense that Huska does not put up with fucking the dog, right?
No.
Like he's there for one reason and one reason only: win games,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what I want out of a head coach.
Yeah.
And
Back to Rasmus Anderson's press conference there for a second.
Mhm.
Did you feel like that was a player who was done?
Yeah,
Who's yeah?
yeah, that's the feeling I got. That was his um saying to the fans, thanks for the memories. Um, but I'm probably not going to be here after my contract. That's a feeling I got out of it.
Well, he's got a whole other year before his contract's expired.
Yeah,
So do you figure he's going to get traded this offseason? I mean, he's not if he's not the one thing I can tell you for sure is if he's not going to extend, Conroy
mhm,
is going to trade him at some point. But
totally.
did that press conference make you feel like he knows he's 1 foot out the door and not coming back for next year?
It it had that vibe. It definitely had that vibe, right? I mean,
I
I
think there were,
understand not committing to answers. I get that, and given this stock, you know, I love this place. This is where I grew up, and I've been here for X amount of years. I love the fans and the staff, and everybody says that, right?
yeah,
Johnny Gaudreau said that on his way out the door.
yeah,
Like
but
it's a stock answer. I get it. Is what it is. It's
but
I,
that's
I wish
also
that
what
players
Morgan
could be.
Frost said, and that's also what Joel Hanley said, who is probably out the door, but Morgan Frost isn't out the door. You know what I mean? Like new players say that, and players who could resign or extend also say that, and that's a stock answer that can be used as an answer for several different questions.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and to me, there was definitely moments in it that made it sound like he was out, but there was also moments in it that made it sound like he legitimately didn't know what he wanted to do. Like he's obviously he's going to talk to his wife about it. Obviously he's going to talk to Conroy about it, and then Conroy's going to talk to his staff about it, right? Like that's just how it
Right.
is. Um, but he is correct in one thing. There's only so many right-handed D you can have, especially if you
I
plan
was.
on giving guys like Perek and Brstevich minutes throughout decent minutes over the next few years.
Mm,
Then you're really going to be taking Rasmus Anderson's minutes away, right? So yeah,
and that was when you listen to the stock answers when he first obviously it's one of the first subjects that the media wants to talk about, and he starts with the stock answers, and then when he threw that one out there, that's when I went, wow, okay. I mean, he gets it, obviously.
yeah,
um but I feel like that was the excuse to walk,
and
or at least
I
the
don't
excuse
get the
for him
feeling like
to.
he's a guy who, if there was, if he knew that he fit the team's plans,
Mm,
I don't think he'd be wanting to go or say or like making it sound like he wants to go or whatever. I think
mm,
that he would really want to stay if he thought that what you know his position
mm,
was solidified on the team, whereas right now it's not. Like if he was still going to be playing top pairing minutes for sure for the next 5-6 years, he would probably be like, fuck yeah, I'll
yeah,
stay.
okay,
But he's also the type of
yeah,
guy who personally I think should play second pair minutes, but he wants to play first pair minutes, right? And with Perek, if Perek comes in and plays the way that everybody thinks he's going to be able to play over the next few years,
yeah,
then that puts Uyghur on the second power play, and then Rasmus Anderson gets no power play time, and
that's right.
then Rasmus Anderson also plays less 5-on-5 time, right? So he goes from playing fucking 25 to 32 minutes or something to playing 20-22 minutes pretty quick, right?
Right.
And he's the type of guy who wants to play a lot. So
Yeah, he is, right? And I get it. Um, he's also the type of player that will run through a brick wall for his team as well. So I
yeah,
think
I mean, he
the non
played
the
2 months
non-committal
with a broken fibula.
broken fibula. Yeah,
I mean, given that's not an operational bone, right? It's a
yeah.
you can walk around and do stuff with that bone, obviously. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have done that. But also,
He's going to Worlds with it, so it
well,
can't be that bad.
yeah, but he broke it what 5 weeks before it healed. He's it healed while he was playing.
Yeah,
Like I said, it's not an operational bone if you're um shielding it, if you have extra padding or whatever, it hurts, but it's not going to not heal because you're not really using it, right?
Yeah, it's not load bearing or anything like that. So
Exactly.
it's just uncomfortable. Like,
Absolutely
and
uncomfortable.
and the fact that he didn't stop blocking shots just kind of tells you what kind of man he is.
And I like that. I
Oh,
haven't looked recently, but I had looked about maybe a month ago, and he was second in the league or third in the league in block shots. Uyghur was up there as well, but I'm a fan of Rasmus Anderson. I know he's struggled offensively, and he's had some problems defensively in the past couple years as well. But when Rasmus Anderson is on and playing the way that he played a couple years ago, he's one of my favorite players in the league.
mhm.
But I don't think like it, if I were him, I would be looking for a team that has playing time throughout the contract I'm going to sign, right? And
Mhm.
I don't think Conroy would be signing him to an 8-year deal because that would take him until he's 37, and that's just stupid. There was a report out there that said Rasmus Anderson's camp, I think it was Steinberg, said Rasmus Anderson's camp was looking for the Chikrin deal, which I believe was 8 times 9, which is
Jesus.
absolutely a fucking hard no for me. Um,
Yeah.
if it was the Pionk deal, which is 6 years at 7 mil, I would be totally cool with that. But 8 times 9 is far, far too much and far, far too long
Hard.
for me to be comfortable with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the 5 or 6 year camp myself.
Yeah, me too. And
You know,
the thing
34,
is like
35.
the difference between what I'm comfortable with and what it seems like Rasmus is looking for, and not that it matters what I'm comfortable with, but that's 3 million times 3 years, or even 2 years. That's $6 to $9 million, man. That's a lot of money that he would be leaving on the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it
So
is.
if I were him, I would probably be looking to leave too. But I also think that I think he's a loyal guy, right? And
Yeah.
I like that about him. I like his attitude. I like his work ethic. I like his leadership skills. I think he is a great leader, but I also don't want to sign a guy to 37 years old ever.
No, definitely not. I mean, he's 28 right now. Still has another full season,
Yeah,
under contract. So adding another, like, no,
no,
that's
absolutely.
that's a no for me. That
Mhm.
that is an absolute no. Yeah,
Uh,
especially with the struggles that he's had in the last year and a half.
so obviously Anderson was the one that most people wanted to hear from because of his contractual status and his perceived value on the trade market and his all of that type of stuff and the injury.
Mhm.
Was there anything else that stood out for you on the garbage bag day from any of the players or the managers or um, anything like that?
Is it how long before you think somebody opens up a boring Matt Coronado profile on X? Like,
I've thought
holy
that for a
shit,
while. He's not a very, very good interview, is he?
at all. Like, thankfully he
Good thing
went
he's
out
a
there with
fucking fun
Lomberg,
player to
right?
watch, eh?
Yeah. Well, it blows me away that somebody that can just be that just bleh, can be so dynamic on the ice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's flashy, he's quick, he's feisty. He's all that thing. And then you talk to him, and you just wow.
Who was he
It
sitting
just
beside
blows me
again?
away. I think it was Lomberg, wasn't it?
maybe I can't remember, but yeah, no, that was the thing about him too is like he's a smart kid, um, and you'd figure that going to Harvard you'd get at least a little bit of public speaking at some point, but he's
Right.
whatever. I don't really care about that type of stuff usually with players. Like if they're not a huge media guy, whatever. Um, for the most part, as long as it's not somebody who the league is trying to push super hard, like a certain guy up north who probably should never be in front of a microphone ever because he's the most
Yeah.
boring man alive. But gets the most microphones.
He just went down 4-2.
4-2. Nice.
Yeah, 4-2 now. LA just scored.
How about Kuzmenko in that series? Fucking lighting it up. I think he had a couple points there
Right.
in the first game, and I know he's got
Where
at
the hell
least
was
a
that
power play goal in this
Kuzmenko?
game.
Where was that Kuzmenko at the beginning of the year?
Well, we do know that he tends to be pretty good when he first joins a team, and
Mhm.
then he disappears.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just playing. He's doing that original. I'm going to play super well for a couple months, and then he's going to have a great playoff run, and then he's going to sign a crazy contract, and then he's going to suck.
Yeah. That that math adds up. Um, I mean,
But if he's doing it against the
I guess
Oilers,
that, yeah. I mean, if if
I'm okay with that.
if it works out for LA, then albeit right. I'm sure it would have worked out well for us in the playoff scenario too had we made it last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been pretty good and like exciting too. Like he's pumped, which is cool.
Yeah. He also has the benefit of playing with like a perennial sulky contender um who can also score. Like he's like Backlund is a pretty good, two-way center. He's one of the best defensive centers, but he's not so good on the offense. Um
Right.
Kuzmenko gets space because he's playing with a guy who can score. You know what I mean? We didn't have any other guys who could score really to play with him. Um, and
Especially at
what's
the
that?
time, especially at the time, Huberdeau was a pass first guy, right?
Yeah,
'Cause, before he decided to be our second in goals, right?
yeah.
Which is great for him.
I
Ready to win some real cash during basketball playoffs? Check out Pick Six from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick Six posterizes the competition, including prize picks. Hit all your picks and score higher minimum payouts on Pick Six Plus. Even more cash if you outscore the competition. Pick Six is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. New players get 50 in Pick Six credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Download your DraftKings Pick Six app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick Six credits. Better payouts, bigger wins. Only with Pick Six from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
yeah. The only other thing I guess that really stood out to me during those end of season press conferences there, Craig Conroy still talking about getting younger.
Right.
That made me happy, and he mentioned
Yeah.
it a few times, and he made sure to mention it. Um, And
No.
I can't remember if it was during those ones or if it was during the one on the radio that he had afterwards. But he also mentioned, or somebody had asked him about going and spending a lot in free agency, and he said pretty much maybe one or two free agents, but not like anything crazy. And he pretty much said he still wants to get younger, and you don't get younger by going to free agency. He also
Now,
mentioned that he'd look into offer sheets, which is fun to think about because you do get younger with offer sheets.
You do. Now, and obviously, I like to hear that from him. He said the exact same thing last year and then signed Rooney to another year, signed Barry, signed Mantha, brought Lomberg, who has been a great addition to the team, so I'm not going to slight that. So, I mean, what he says and hopefully what he does can be the same fucking thing this summer.
Well, to be fair, he made room and kept room for guys like Zeri to play lots, even though he got hurt and that really sucked. And he made, when Mantha went down, he made sure that Coronado was up and playing all the time, and that turned out well. He made room for Wolf to play all the time. So signing a couple of bottom six forwards is not the end of the world. The Mantha thing still pisses me off because that was taking a spot from Coronado. But I also still believe that was meant to be a sign, like a rental trade before he went down. I do think that that was Conroy looking for a way to get another draft pick or two or another prospect or both.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
and as far
that
as
could very well be. But
Rooney and Lomberg, like I don't really want a bunch of young guys on the fourth line anyways. I don't see the point in bringing a guy up and playing him 6 minutes. Unless it's a Klapka who ended up playing lots. So,
well, that's just it, right? You're not going to see what these guys have until you start them slow on the fourth, and you start moving shit around, and then that's kind of what happened with Klapka, right? He started on the fourth, and then essentially forced Huska's hand to move him up.
really. And he did that thing that Sam Bennett never did, where in Calgary, where somebody got hurt and he got elevated because somebody got hurt, and then he actually played really well with the guys who he got elevated to play with.
Yeah, he made the most of his opportunity for sure.
Absolutely. That's exactly it, right?
And I really hope that he's able to come into camp next year and continue on the same path. Because, I mean, based on what we saw of him the last few weeks of the season, I want more of it.
What's your projection on him for long term, for 5-6 years from now, Adam Klapka?
I mean, I still think like middle six, he's definitely not a top line player. I don't think he's a second line player either, but I would still feel comfortable putting him in the middle six, where he's likely a third line player that can slot into the second if, under certain circumstances, if there's injuries or something like that, right?
Or if you need a dose of size, if you're playing against a bigger team or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Power play 2, third line would be my ideal situation for him. Pot 15 to 20 goals, get 30 to 40 points type of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
and just
be a general give the man $3 million and let's go. Well, yeah, I mean, he's a big man. So if we can teach him how to be really effective in front of the net, I think that would be something that the Flames should go after myself.
I don't think they have to train him to do that because he is.
Mhm.
Now, he doesn't park himself in front of the net like you're talking about. He's effective in front of the net by taking the puck to the front of the net himself. And he does
He
do that.
really is. He does it very well. And he just has such incredible reach that even if you're a defender and he's going around you, he can keep that puck away from you without you even having a chance to get to it.
And he doesn't even have to do that hold you away thing that so many players do these days. He just reaches
He just
around you.
powers through them. Yeah, he
Yeah.
just powers through you. Yeah, he basically does the forward equivalent of what Ball does to defenders coming into our zone.
I was arguing. Oh, Kevin Ball. We should talk about his interview too. But I was arguing with some people on Reddit, or was it Reddit? No, it was actually on YouTube about Kevin Ball. People seem to think he sucks. I mean, it was 2 or 3 people, but I was like, "What are you watching? Like, are you only looking at the stat sheet, or are you paying attention to how like people are like, oh, he's not hitting people? He doesn't fucking need to."
I mean, he had a few really nice hits, timely hits.
Yeah, but you don't need
That's not
to.
his.
If
That's not how
you're
he's the best. It's not. That's not how he's a really good defender, is by hitting people.
if you're using your reach, if you have a giant reach and you're using it effectively without taking penalties, like look at Chris
Yeah.
Tanev. Chris Tanev didn't have that reach, but he kind of had go gadget arms. You don't need like Chris Tanev didn't throw people down all the time. He was just in the way of passes, and he was really good at angling people off the puck and angling people away from the net. And Kevin Ball is the same thing. He's not Chris Tanev. Chris Tanev
Right.
is the best
Yeah.
defenseman we've had since Robin Regeer. But
Miss you, Reggie.
yeah. But Kevin Ball is 100% an awesome addition. And to get Kevin Ball and this first round pick for Jacob Markstrom and essentially making room for Dustin Wolf to be a Calder contender is I think that's fucking highway robbery for a 34-year-old goalie who, well, he had a good start to the year, kind of wasn't very good to end the year and hasn't been playing all that well in the playoffs either.
That's right. Well, yeah. When it comes to Ball, like I have all day for him. Like you and I, whether it be on the show here or just chatting outside of here, like you know what I feel about real defenders. Like I don't give a fuck about their points. Yes, we do have some defenders that are good at getting points and scoring goals and stuff like that, which is great. But you also need to mix in guys that can defend, right? And he's one of those guys. He doesn't need to be physical. He can be physical. He'll work in the boards really well. He had quite a few really nice timely hits as skaters are coming into our zone. Chris Tanev, like you said, is one of the best defenders we've had in a couple of decades.
20 years.
He's not physical. He's not physical at all.
No.
Like he doesn't hit. I mean, he goes into the corners and gets dirty. But that's not hitting.
No,
That's not the the Dion Phaneufs or that type of stuff, right? Like I mean that style of hockey just isn't really a thing anymore anyways when it comes to defenders. But I mean, I wish it was. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of the big blustering hits. I'm a huge fan of it. But no, I've got all day long
but
to
if you don't have to do it, you don't
watch
have to do it.
Kevin Ball. That's right. Yeah, if you can separate the man from the puck without flattening them and risking injury, a fight, a penalty, whatever. Oh, great. He's really good at it.
Look at some of the teams that have won Stanley Cups in the last little while.
Mhm.
Aaron Ekblad, sure, he's more of an offensive guy. But Gustav Forsling is like
Mhm.
Chris Tanev light
Mhm.
with a little bit more offense, but he's like Chris Tanev light. Nick Hague on the Golden Knights.
Right.
Brian McDonough is the most defensive guy you'll ever fucking see.
Yeah.
Multiple Stanley Cup winner. Recent. These are all recent. Like you need guys like that. Just because they're not showing up on the stat sheet doesn't mean that they're not useful players, and that like you need those guys to play with your Aaron Ekblads and your Oliver Ekman-Larssons and your, like, for us it's going to be Zane Parekh. Zane Parekh's a rover, right? He's going to be really fun to watch, and there's going to be lots of times you're holding your breath, and he's going to win us games, but he's also going to cost us games. It's just how it's going to be. But if you
That's right.
pair him with a guy like Kevin Ball, then at least you have somebody is going to be in a solid defensive position with a reach that can get the puck off the defender's stick.
That's just it. I mean, having a guy that will hang back and can defend, one or two guys coming down the ice gives you the opportunity to have a guy like Zane Parekh to be dynamic offensively. You got to have that person covered, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously the way that the way the team's structured, there's going to be a forward that's going to be covering that spot. But if the shit hits a fan and we got players rushing down the ice, we want somebody that can take the responsibility away from that forward.
Yeah.
And that's going to be Kevin Ball.
Yeah.
Like he's really the perfect player to go with him.
6-2 LA.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. Tempe just scored.
Yeah. 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 No, I don't understand and I haven't seen a lot of people not liking Kevin Ball. I said my piece on that, and I kind of like, with those people who were arguing with me on YouTube there, I said one thing, and then I was like, this isn't even worth my time, and then I stopped. Right.
He had 109 hits this year.
Ball?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You could have fooled me.
Yeah. I would have pegged him at around 70, but that's fine.
Yeah, like around one a game, not one and a quarter a game.
Let's see now if you contrast him with Rasmus, we'll say Rasmus isn't physical, is he?
I would say gritty, not. He's not a hitter. He'll get dirty, but he's not hitting people very often.
So based on what I just said about Kevin Ball, what would be your guess at what StatMuse has Anderson at?
80?
I would have said the same thing. They have him at 36.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Again, he's not a physical player in that manner, but
Nope.
Also when you're in position to block that many shots, you're not in position to make a hit usually, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Because you have to be, generally speaking, you're 5-10 feet away from the shooter. And if you're going to be hitting players, you have to be hitting the guy with the puck. So you're not really in a position to block it, right?
Exactly.
So they've
got Mackenzie Weegar sitting at 223.
Didn't
That's awesome.
Uyghur, I want to say last year he was like the only player with a certain amount of hits and 20 goals or something like that. I
Last
can't remember. I remember there being some crazy stat with him.
he had a 193 last year and 20 goals. I mean it's still pretty reasonable. I mean, he was also a plus 18 this year, which that's another thing that you got Rasmus Anderson that finished the year at a minus 38, but his defensive partner finishes at a minus 6.
It's
Not
kind of mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Doesn't make any sense to me.
And it's the same as Kadri and his line mates.
Yeah.
It's not that the contrast isn't that much.
No, it's not that much, but
32 difference, but yeah. I know it's hard to put too much into plus minus, but when it's when there's such a vast difference, that's when there's that's why I always bring it up with when talking about a guy like Erik Karlsson, right? How can you be a giant minus and have 100 points as a defenseman? That means you are
right.
terrible at one thing, which is defending, and
That's right.
it's a detriment, right? But I don't think Rasmus is a terrible defender. I think he, in the last little bit of the season there, he had a hard time spinning, and he was kind of a step behind. But I think generally speaking, he's actually a pretty decent defender. I think he just struggled in the last quarter or so of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that for sure. Obviously you're not going to be as agile when you're skating around with a broken fibula.
Yeah, when you're skating a step behind, or when you're a little bit distracted by pain or whatever, like he got caught puck watching a lot, which he hasn't done a whole lot in the past, but he did a lot at the end of this year. He got caught puck watching, and I think it was because he would be spinning slower, and then by the time he had spun around, the puck was going the other way, so he had to spin again. Like he couldn't keep caught up because he was a step behind. That's the way I looked at it, anyways. But
yeah, especially when you're starting off with a disadvantage, right? You're starting off being a bit slower than you should be because of that injury. You don't have time to be watching. I suppose that's opinion related, and that's mine.
Yeah. I don't have too much more to say. I mean, I thought Kevin Ball was really well spoken. And so was Joel Hanley.
Yeah, he started it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot to say. Yeah, I mean, he did have a lot to say.
It seemed like he wants to stay, but also knows that there's not. It's kind of like Anderson, right? Just knows that there might not be that much room.
Yeah. Bean spent most of his time making excuses because he's been a Flames fan his whole life, and the shock and the excitement of being like, dude,
Well, yeah, he was
you're a
never
professional.
that great to begin with.
Yeah.
I was hoping he would show something, but he didn't really show much. I was hoping, but not expecting much from him.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think he was as bad as people said. Like a lot of people shat on him really, really, really hard, and I don't think he was that good or anything like that. But I don't think he was like abysmal all season. I thought he had a few rough games and stuff like that, but I don't think he was that bad for most of the season.
No, I wouldn't say it was that bad. He just wasn't very good, which is fine. It is what it is. It's not a big deal in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, not much from other than that from the garbage bag day, but I
Yeah.
did want to talk a little bit about the last game of the season because we haven't talked about that yet. So obviously a few of the players didn't make it. Huberto didn't make it. Erasmus didn't make it. A bunch of them stayed back in Calgary, and from what I heard, they all a couple of them got together and watched the game together. But there was a few call-ups, and Perek got in, Brustevich got in. Who else got into them that I'm thinking of? Suniev got in, and Sam Morton got in. So it's one game against the Kings, who had their playoff spot locked up, their playoff opponent locked up, home ice locked up, sat a few of their better players, and honestly didn't really play that well. Kind of seemed like they didn't give two fucks about that game for a lot of it. So it's hard to put too much into those games at the very end of the season. But it's still nice to see those young guys get in. So Perek, Brustevich, Suniev, Morton, go.
Perek, especially early on, had a couple of really nice defensive plays with his stick. I was really impressed with it. He read the puck very well. And then you could tell he started becoming more and more comfortable. And that's when he started to become more energetic and forced to play offensively. I thought he had a really good game. Brustevich, I thought, was stable. Nothing flashy, but I thought he had a good game as well. Suniev, I wasn't impressed by that game. I mean, I like him as a player and everything I've seen of him, but I feel like given the spotlight that was thrown at them, he didn't appear to make the most of his opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I
if
thought
throwing
he
him with Kadri right off the bat was for his first NHL game was he had the jitters. I thought he
had
like
something
the
for sure.
entire game.
Yeah, which I mean you got to get over that. I was really getting tired of the blind behind the back passes. They did that I think 3 times, potentially 4 times, and I was just like, dude, like you haven't been successful at that yet. Knock it off. Like back to basics, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't impressed with him. Morton, I mean, he was good. I wasn't really expecting too much from him. He was better than I expected.
I'd be
Right? He was
I mean, he scored.
energetic.
He scored. I'd be more than happy with him and Kirkland battling it out for Rooney's spot next year, and both of them getting 41 games or something along those lines. I'd be super pumped on that. Maybe super pumped isn't the right word to talk about a fourth line battle, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah, super pumped. Yeah, you'd be perfectly okay with that.
I'd be
scenario,
perfectly
right?
okay with that. That's a good way to put that. Perek, it's not, and I agree with you. I was really surprised about the defensive play because the knock on him has always been the defense. And it's not just the defensive play, but I found it very unique that he was so aggressive defensively. And I don't mean physical. A lot of people mistake that word aggressive to mean physical.
No, he rushed the puck a lot. Rushed the like that's what I call it, right? He's not going after the player, he's going after the puck.
Yeah, and very, very, very close to the player as well.
Yeah.
I found. And I think that there's a couple plays that stand out, and I think you're thinking of one of the ones I'm thinking of, which is he was defending a 2-on-1, and he was playing the puck carrier, and his stick. He was backing up with the player coming at him, and his stick was like it's hard to see, from the TV, but it looked like his stick was basically on the puck the whole time, and he was like right next to the player, and he was backing
Yeah.
up with the guy, and the guy had no space or anything to do anything. And I was like,
Yeah.
for a rookie first first game player with the knock on him being defense, the balls
Yeah.
to do that was very impressive to me. And he did lay a couple of, I wouldn't even call them hits. He would just kind of push guys around um a couple of times behind the net and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, just the aggressiveness of his defending was very impressive to me. And if he can put on a few more pounds and actually um you know take it to the next level and continue to play like that um throughout his career, any worries I had about him becoming Eric Carlson out the window. Don't care.
Yeah.
Um, Also,
Yeah.
something this team has been sorely missing, and this is going to sound really fucked up, but since Chris Tanev, the first pass out the zone, Chris Tanev, obviously not an offensive player at all,
Yeah.
but he often started the offense with a great outlet pass, and he never
Yeah.
got the points for it. Zane Parak is going to get points for that, but his first pass, quick decisions, rocketing passes right onto the stick of players who are um, mid stride on the way
Mhm.
out the zone, or even in the neutral zone or
And-
whatever.
yeah.
Very, very quick and precise passing. Very impressive stuff. And that goal, we haven't even talked about that goal yet. Obviously, not expecting him to get a whole lot of deflections from 30 feet.
Right.
but
That was, yeah.
but
I mean,
the
yeah, that was
simple,
pretty.
it was very pretty, but the confidence and the hockey IQ to see that open up and make and then see that there
Yeah.
was uh, one of the forwards was near him, so that forward was going to cover for him, and the quick decision making to actually rush into that area as it was opening up. Just as it opened up, it was Backlund, I think, that was covering for him, because Backlund took the shot that he
Right.
deflected too, right? And it was just kind of one of those really nice. It wasn't really cycling the puck, but it was cycling players, if you know what I mean. And for him to do
Yeah.
that at such a young age, and having the poise and having the confidence and the IQ to actually see that happening and see that play developing, that stuff excites me.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. I mean, he's played, he's played the one game, got his goal, +3, which isn't bad. Considering we had 4 rookies starting, given the Kings weren't exactly pushing the pace, which obviously, for obvious reasons, they were getting themselves geared up for the game that they just finished out here, giving them the 2-game series lead. Yeah, no, I was happily surprised with what I saw from him defensively. Obviously, we know about his offensive prowess, and that's where he's going to make his money. But if he can continue to improve on his defense, and like you said, come back, next season with a bit more mass. In the exit interview, I think he said he wanted to come back being about 193, which I think was probably a pretty good size for him. Weight wise, I would suspect that would be a pretty impressive defensive force potentially if he can get the right tutelage. I think he'll. I think he's going to exceed expectations defensively, personally, given what I saw in the one game.
I think I think he's going again, like you said, one game. It's
Yeah.
hard to get overhyped about one game, but we're
Mhm.
doing it, and I think for good reason. Um, But yeah, I think he's going to exceed defensive expectations and should meet offensive expectations, which are fucking sky high already. So I'm excited for that. I think we might have poor man's Kale McCarr on our hands. Not obviously.
Well, for now,
Not. I'm not gonna go out there and say generational or anything like that. But this guy is going to be an elite player for us for many years, and I'm very pumped on that. Hunter Bustevich, I not too much to say about it. I agree with you. Given he played third pair when he was out there.
right.
I wasn't worried. I didn't see him getting out of position. I saw him playing, a good defensive position. He moved the puck well. I'm excited for Bustevich. I think he's going to be something. No, maybe not special when you're looking at Zane Perek, but I think he's going to be a pretty good, top four defenseman, two-way type of guy for us for many years as well. I think that Lindholm trade is the gift that keeps on giving. That Matt Vagradine is going to be something pretty special too, I think. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped on that. Sam Morton, pretty much what you said, played pretty solid fourth line hockey, scored a good little goal, got really excited. I found it funny his family was in the stands and it looked like I don't know if it was his girlfriend or his sister or whatever, but it looked like somebody was just returning to their seat and they were like, what happened? What happened? What happened? Like everybody else was like going fucking nuts. And that person just like totally missed it. It was funny.
That sucks.
Just like it looked like I had popcorn for everyone.
Yeah.
And
that sucks.
And yeah, like I already talked about Suniev a little bit. I thought he just had the jitters. I fully expect him to be a full-time AHL player next year. He's probably going to play top six down there for the vast majority of the year. I think he's got a lot of seasoning to happen, and that's not just based on one game. That's I've heard a lot of the staff say that too. So
right.
I think he's more of a project type of a thing, but yeah, jitters probably put too high up in the lineup for his first game, but the behind the back pass thing, maybe he just needs to go talk to Huberdeau, and Huberdeau can be like, hey, the people around here don't like that. Stop that.
Right. The fans don't like that. Knock it off. Tabernacle.
Yeah. Tabernacle. I don't have too much else to say.
That's what you told me 20 minutes ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I don't have too much else to say. We've got it looks like the Oilers lost 6-2, so they're down in their series 2-0. I'm pretty fucking pumped on that. Other than that, I would say make sure you check out Rocky Mountain Maniacs, the band that does our entrance music or theme music, if you want to say. Killer. I think
link will be below.
Album I haven't had the chance to check out. Link in the description. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all the fun YouTube stuff. Yeah.
All right. Cheers. Keep watching the playoffs. Go Kings. I mean, go Flames.